Thoughts without content are empty, intuitions without concepts are blind. The understanding can intuit nothing, the senses can think nothing. Only through their unison can knowledge arise. Everywhere we remain unfree and chained to technology, whether we passionately affirm or deny it. The life of man is of no greater importance to the universe than that of an oyster. My difficulty is only an enormous difficulty of expression. Death hangs over thee, whilst yet thou livest, whilst thou mayest, be good. Metaphysics has as the proper object of its inquiries three ideas only: God, freedom, and immortality. Transcendence constitutes selfhood. It is clear that the causal nexus is not a nexus at all. Live as long as you please, you will strike nothing off the time you will have to spend dead. Hope is the only good that is common to all men. Those who have nothing else possess hope still. It would be a hard task to discover the maker and father of this universe of ours, and even if we did find him, it would be impossible to speak of him to everyone. The thing I fear most is fear. Intellect is invisible to the man who has none. No circumstance is ever so desperate that one cannot nurture some spark of hope. In order to remain silent, a sane must have something to say. Aim at being loved without being admired. Things are not bad in themselves, but our cowardice makes them so. The philosophers have only interpreted the world, in various ways. The point, however, is to change it. Of war men ask the outcome, not the cause. All happiness or unhappiness solely depends upon the quality of the object to which we are attached by love. It is one of the chief skills of the philosopher not to occupy himself with questions which do not concern him. Remorse sleeps during a prosperous period but wakes up in adversity. Language is a part of our organism and no less complicated than it. Friendship is always helpful, but love sometimes even does harm. To scorn the dictate of reason is to scorn the commandment of God. I think, therefore I am. Strength and beauty are the blessings of youth. Temperance, however, is the flower of old age. If one doesn't know his mistakes, he won't want to correct them. To love is to will the good of the other. It is of the nature of desire not to be satisfied, and most men live only for the gratification of it. The beginnings of all things are small. It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor. Time is the wisest of all things that are, for it brings everything to light. He who is unable to live in society, or who has no need because he is sufficient for himself, must be either a beast or a god. Mathematics is the gate and key of the sciences. Neglect of mathematics works injury to all knowledge, since he who is ignorant of it cannot know the other sciences or the things of this world. And what is worse, men who are thus ignorant are unable to perceive their own ignorance and so do not seek a remedy. The grandeur of man is measured according to what he seeks and according to the urgency by which he remains a seeker. The fundament upon which all our knowledge and learning rests is the inexplicable. The greatness of the human being consists in this, that it is capable of the universe. A free man thinks of death least of all things, and his wisdom is a meditation not of death but of life. I consist of a little body and a soul. Men do not care how nobly they live, but only how long, although it is within the reach of every man to live nobly, but within no man's power to live long. Is any man afraid of change? Why, what can take place without change? Though experience be our only guide in reasoning concerning matters of fact, it must be acknowledged that this guide is not altogether infallible, but in some cases is apt to lead us into errors. The totality is not, as it were, a mere heap, but the whole is something besides the parts. Diseases of the mind are more common and more pernicious than diseases of the body. Man's greatest concern is to know how he shall properly fill his place in the universe and correctly understand what he must be in order to be a man. Nature does nothing uselessly. Unlimited exploitation of cheap labor power is the sole foundation of their power to compete. For what is life but a play in which everyone acts a part until the curtain comes down? Whatever happens at all happens as it should. You will find this true, if you watch narrowly. As a beast of toil an ox is fixed capital. If he is eaten, he no longer functions as an instrument of labor, nor as fixed capital either. Anyone who holds a true opinion without understanding is like a blind man on the right road. When people are friends, they have no need of justice, but when they are just, they need friendship in addition. Change alone is eternal, perpetual, immortal. For once touched by love, everyone becomes a poet. Pleasure, a most mighty lure to evil. But still anger ought be far from us, for nothing is able to be done rightly nor judiciously with anger. Saying is one thing and doing is another. The human being is not the lord of beings, but the shepherd of being. Man reaches the highest point of his knowledge about God when he knows that he knows him not, inasmuch as he knows that that which is God transcends whatsoever he conceives of him. Nothing can come out of nothing, any more than a thing can go back to nothing. One often makes a remark and only later sees how true it is. Fame is something which must be won, honor, only something which must not be lost. One must never forget to look at the aim of a matter. Morals excite passions, and produce or prevent actions. Reason of itself is utterly impotent in this particular. The rules of morality, therefore, are not conclusions of our reason. You must lay aside the burdens of the mind. Until you do this, no place will satisfy you. It is too difficult to think nobly when one thinks only of earning a living. The capitalist cannot store labor power in warehouses after he has bought it, as he may do with the raw material. Only the descent into the hell of self-knowledge can pave the way to godliness. I can control my thoughts as necessary, then how can I be troubled? The death of dogma is the birth of morality. Man, know thyself, then thou shalt know the universe and God. Every man takes the limits of his own field of vision for the limits of the world. Hatred, as well as love, renders its votaries credulous. That which is most excellent, and is most to be desired by all happy, honest and healthy-minded men, is dignified leisure. There is only one good, knowledge, and one evil, ignorance. By liberty, then, we can only mean a power of acting or not acting, according to the determinations of the will. The hour of departure has arrived, and we go our ways, I to die and you to live. Which is the better, only God knows. What cannot be imagined cannot even be talked about. There must be a seed of every good thing in the character of men, otherwise no one can bring it out. Man is by nature a political animal. Very little is needed to make a happy life. No one can be happy without virtue. Have patience a while, slanders are not long-lived. Truth is the child of time, ere long she shall appear to vindicate thee. Every parting gives a foretaste of death, every reunion a hint of the resurrection. It is not titles that make men illustrious, but men who make titles illustrious. The most disadvantageous peace is better than the most just war. Like everything metaphysical, the harmony between thought and reality is to be found in the grammar of the language. Perception and knowledge could never be the same. The man who is fortunate in his choice of son-in-law gains a son, the man unfortunate in his choice loses his daughter also. Wonder is the feeling of a philosopher, and philosophy begins in wonder. Many secrets of art and nature are thought by the unlearned to be magical. The most momentous thing in human life is the art of winning the soul to good or to evil. Whatever be the reason, whatever may be the matter, don't get irritated, don't get angry, don't speak loudly, keep your mind calm, think and then take decision. Voice does not erase the sound, but silence erases the pain. Only you will get hurt, you will also get hurt. Keep your mind calm. Then only you will get happiness. A real great man is the one whom no one should feel small after meeting. If you want to identify a person, then do it not by looks but by character, because gold is often kept in an iron safe. Only that person. You have the right to criticize someone who not only criticizes but also has the feeling of helping. Time is strange. If you go along with it, your destiny changes, and if you don't, it changes the destiny itself. You are becoming engrossed in thinking that it is yours, and this happiness is the cause of your sorrows. It is certain for a person to deviate from his destination in the company of negative people. Love always likes to apologize and ego always likes to hear apologies. Those who wish for the success of their work in this world should worship the gods. A person can become whatever he wants if he continuously thinks about the desired thing with faith. It is not as difficult to make your own as it is to keep your own. Humility is needed to maintain relationships. Only Mahabharata can be created through deceit and deceit. If you cannot be friends with someone, then you should not have enmity with him. Man's life depends only on his actions. As is his action, so is his life. Sri Krishna says that never let anyone enjoy in his life. Give a promise, neither respond in anger nor take a decision in sadness. It is better to do one's own work, even if it has to be done imperfectly, than to do someone else's work perfectly. Sri Krishna says, I am the one who created this universe. I am the one who nurtures it and I am the one who destroys this creation. Sri Krishna says, when the religion begins to decline in the world and unrighteousness wins, then I incarnate on this earth. It is as if everything in life ends. This does not always happen. A new beginning is always waiting for us. Always try to avoid small mistakes because man stumbles not from mountains but from stones. If the desire is not fulfilled, then anger increases, and if the desire is fulfilled, then greed increases. Crying makes a person weak. This is wrong, but only a person broken by disease becomes the strongest. That love in which one makes oneself cheap is very expensive. Be happy with what we have. Living a life like ours is also the dream of many people. Sadness occurs when we realize that those to whom we owe everything we understand that we had no importance in his eyes. This often happens in the journey of life. Difficult decisions are the best. Everyone talks about trust and confidence, but only the one who breaks it knows what is called trust. If you are looking for that person who can change your life, then look in the mirror once. It is very difficult to understand the truth of life. It is very easy to defeat someone, but it is very difficult to win someone. Responsibilities make a person grow up before time. Is the one we love most, but it. We also use it in the wrong way. When someone has to end a relationship with someone, the first thing he does is to end the sweetness of his tongue. There is a lot of sleep in the eyes, but there is no sleep. This is the time to do something. Don't lose it. Whatever is received is enough. Happiness is incalculable in these two words. Storms are also necessary to come in life. Only then we come to know who runs away freeing the hand and who runs away holding the hand. The person who does not see his own mistakes is far away from that person. It is better to make it. No relationship comes on one's own will because it is up to you when, where, and with whom you have to meet. Only the one decides. If you ever have to be alone in the fight for honor and respect, then do so. But do not let yourself break in front of anyone, because only when you respect yourself, you will get respect from others. If your heart is clean and your motive is right, then have faith in someone or the other. God definitely helps you in the form of life. Never be disappointed. It can suddenly take a good turn. Never trust anyone blindly because the world is not good enough to keep your trust. Prayers never leave you and curses never leave you. Everything ends slowly. Just realize that suddenly it seems that remaining silent is a spiritual practice and speaking thoughtfully is an art. The person who speaks clearly and directly has sharp and harsh words, but such a person never cheats anyone. It is easy to achieve anything in life without sacrifice. No, everyone has intelligence, but being clever or honest depends on the values. Everyone has the power to fight, but some like to win, and some like relationships. Leave life open sometimes because it is kept very carefully. Things are not available on time. Lag is of 2 letters. Die is of 2 letters. Time is of 3 letters. Nasib is of 3 letters and luck is of 3.5 letters. But these 4 often fall short in front of hard work. Those relationships which supported us at the right time should be valued more than the time itself. What can be given from the heart cannot be given by hands, and what can be said by silence cannot be said by words. Not even God can stop the success of one who has controlled his mind. There is no cure for doubt and no proof of character. It happens that there is no better practice than silence, and there is no arrow sharper than words. Some relationships often end due to pride. Mistakes are not always to blame. Just don't give up on yourself. Shri Krishna will take care of everything else. Silence is necessary to live life. But when it comes to dignity, it becomes mandatory to take up arms. Life comes only once. This is absolutely wrong. Death comes only once. Life comes every day. No human being changes himself like this. There are some incidents in life which force a person to change. Don't be afraid if someone talks about you behind your back, because it is only those who have a say. Who you are doesn't matter to anyone but what is inside you. It is a virtue that makes a lot of difference. Some people lose precious relationships because of their arrogance. Many times in life we trust someone so much that when he leaves us, we cannot believe it. No matter how true your love is, people true love know. I like good-looking people before every moment passes, because memories come back. There is no time. Some memories do not let us live, and some responsibilities let us die. Sometimes you have to go through the worst door to get something good. Give importance in this life to the one who understands your value. People will respect you only when you learn to ignore them like they do. It is true that cheap things and bad people always look good in the beginning. Never be happy knowing about the suffering of others, because you do not know what will happen to you in the future. We should understand this very well, that anything in life always does not remain the same. Everything changes with time. There should be no patience in any situation. Because even if a mountain of sorrows has fallen on you today, this time will also pass, and if you are very happy about something today, this time will also pass. Whatever the relationship may be, it should be strong and not forced. Shri Krishna says for everyone. There are problems in life, but man understands his own problems the most and the biggest. But the truth is that man's personality shines only when he stumbles from his own people. If someone asks you for something, then give it to him, because God has placed you among those who give. Jai Shri Krishna is not among those who ask.